misleading. Cause all my life I tried to get it right. Cause all my life, yeah, I tried to get it right. It's hard to explain the way I'm feeling. It's hard to contain this pain I'm concealing. It's all my life.
Welcome to the Barn Podcast, joined here by Nate and special guest, Deloge OG, Andrew Ryan. How's it going, bud?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Deloge in the house, man.
Yeah, Cantwell, man. East
yep.
Deloge.
So I'm old school Deloge too, and anytime I got a Deloge guy in here with all these Bon Terre guys that I hang out with, we always got to stand up. We got to stick together.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go outside right now and like totally beat Nate at kickball, basketball, wiffle ball.
Well,
but
yeah, sure. Anyone with scoliosis, I would imagine you could beat.
We got some Deloge in the house. Andrew Ryan, you are a traveling musician.
Oh, vagabond.
Yeah, that is correct. I travel the country.
Troubadour?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Been doing it for about 5 or 6 years now.
Even
I've
pandemic?
been everywhere but the Northeast. The pandemic, I had to stay home, but it actually gave me time to work on my new album and like a couple other ones at the same time.
You stay on something.
Yeah.
Even if you're not on the road.
I just have a addictive personality, I think.
Well, just what you dig, yeah. But every time you either have a project going or you're on the road somewhere or you're getting ready or you're fucking working on mixing someone else's project.
Right.
Yeah, there's never a time where like music's not part of your day.
So are you a full-time musician, half-time? Do you do studio work?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm full when everything's open and stuff.
Right.
But it's probably about half the time in a sense because I do a lot of recording and mixing for bands. People that I know or just through the internet or I'll actually even traveled to different cities and do some stuff. I was just in Savannah, Georgia about 2 weeks ago recording a record for a friend of mine.
Awesome.
And I'm going to Chicago in a week to do that for another 10 days.
You know, recording is so convenient, I think, these days where you don't need a whole lot, right? We're running a full podcast here, and we have some mics and a mixer and a keyboard. And,
yeah, for sure. And a laptop, you know.
Yeah. So you don't need a whole lot. So that makes sense to me that you could actually, you know, I guess recording artists in a studio is a lot different where you could actually go to them.
Right.
So just put out an album yesterday.
Yeah, April Fools, man.
Yeah.
Came out.
A Tiny Death, available everywhere. You released, would you call them singles? A couple singles early or a couple songs early?
Yeah. 2 singles before it came out, a few months before.
Is that becoming pretty much standard practice? It's like, do you think albums are going to just pretty much eventually weed out to the point where singles are going to be
just singles only?
Released like
it's kind of like that.
Staggered.
Yeah, people do that.
Yeah,
every 2 months a song.
No, it's like Tool will do that, or a lot of it. It's almost become standard practice with like 2 or 3 songs will get released every other week or so.
Yeah. Just to entice a little excitement.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't really know like what the best way to do it. I just do the old way.
Kind of like that with the combination of all the new. It's a Wild West now. It seems.
Yeah, if I was doing like dance music, it'd be different. But
still, there's still kind of the same echo chamber or whatever, like the same theories kind of apply. You have to be on social media and market digitally or you're
right.
No
Put out a song, promote it, then another one.
So
and
you
kind of you're
smart in the degree like you know how you got that old school mentality because you went to production sound engineer school, so you work with like analog. You know how to do analog and then of course Pro Tools, but like so you know how to dip your foot in the old school ways, but then so you're hip and competent enough to where like I still got to be like on social media and fucking market myself.
You have to. I don't really like to do it that much, but I have to do it. You know, if I wasn't like doing any kind of art or music, I just would leave it alone.
There's a cringe element to it. It feels like.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's kind of nice that you are your own marketer. Like you know how you had the power and the say so how you're branding yourself from the get go. Which branding is a weird word. It's becoming.
No, for sure. You have all the control, but it would be easier if there was others doing it for you.
So you do it all your own, and you are completely a true indie artist.
Yeah, I've booked like every show, but maybe like 7 out of like a couple hundred probably, and it's been awesome when other people do it for you.
Now you say that's interesting. Yeah,
travel with people. I had some friends in California, LA, and Santa Cruz, and I did like a tour with them in 2019, right before the whole pandemic thing started. And it was just so nice going to these different places and not having to like check my email or talk to anybody.
You mentioned that earlier, like a goal. Then like maybe a next step would be a management of some sorts, and that, I guess that would entail like social media management.
Yeah, well, yeah, like a
right?
booking agency.
But then would that be a separate entity itself? Like someone
Yeah, they make it separate.
like a freelance company, like the digital market, for your marketing and promotion, whatever. So
Yeah, that's
but
all
your management
separate.
would kind of like yeah.
Well, like booking is a thing. So you can go like
sure.
a manager and a booking. And so you could like whatever company it has, whoever on their roster. That's how you get to open for like someone
For
to the
sure,
next level.
for sure, yeah.
That's how that kind of works.
So when you're booking, how many days out do you usually go at a time? Is it a couple weeks? Is it a month?
Yeah, usually 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll be back for like maybe a week and a half or 5 days, and then
So you
off.
do you just pull the map up and try to connect it as
there's
logistically
a
as
lot,
possible?
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, but now I just have contacts from doing it. where-
Right.
You've hit a circuit of like living room performances, like a whole network of like.
Well, it's great for my kind of music. It's like intimate kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool about social media is that regard is like you can connect with that whole scene and like network of individuals, like couch crashers, for example. Like it's kind of like that in a sense. You can get on Reddit and find individuals. Hey, if you need a place to crash or whatever, it's like that. But it's the same with you, and you're building that. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting.
Yeah, that's like a grassroots way where you like actually know people who are there. And
But that's kind of goes to the thing like that's kind of weeding out like the corporate to a degree because we don't the gatekeepers are gone almost to the point where you can book your own thing and you don't need the clubs, you don't need the big venues and stuff like that when you have like that kind of
Sure. Yeah, for that level, for sure. It's like what I've done a lot of shows like in St. Louis opening for like a national artist and like the really nice venues and that's awesome. But then like doing the house shows is like just as cool because people are there to listen
You can
and
really connect with the song.
yeah,
with the
and
people.
then they talk to you and it's awesome. It's like just as cool or better.
fucking
really.
punk rock. That's what it is.
Yeah, but sad, slow.
Yeah, well, it's fucking punk rock. That's what it is.
Very sad.
So when you do those shows, you do it just you and acoustic? Do you have any other instrumentation with you?
Yeah, well, I had a friend of mine that was traveling with me in 2019. You might know him, Jason Thomas from Bonterre.
I don't know.
He's a little older.
Well, again, he's Bonterre guy, so you may not know.
Oh, yeah, you probably don't.
Where I lived on Young
Good at kickball?
No, we are horrible. But you remember where I lived on Young Street there in Bonterre? He lived like 3 houses down. His sister was Jenna Thomas. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
He
Hangs with Alex Ward a lot.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't know why we need. No one in this world probably knows all these names and all these
Right,
sayings. So we don't. Yeah.
yeah, but he would travel with me. He traveled with me a lot one year. He did like lap steel and electric guitar.
Cool. Yeah.
So that was cool. Like make it more than just like a
That was cool.
harmonica.
You
and
guys went like
guitar.
what would you do in San Francisco? Like, did you go do something there on the rooftop of?
Yeah, it was called Twin Peaks Sessions.
Yeah.
It's like on top of a rooftop.
Put a link in below for
They
that.
film it with the city in the background. It's cool.
That's awesome.
That was a cool performance. I remember watching that. Yeah.
And sometimes it's really foggy there, so you can't even see like the bridge in the city, and that's really cool looking too.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of
I've been there one time and it was gorgeous. And I've been to Santa Cruz too. And that drive from Santa Cruz to San Francisco, I always say that was one of the prettiest, most scenic drives I've ever been on ever.
yeah, it's awesome out there. Have you been to the Northwest much at all?
No, as far
it's
north.
like that, but just gets
That's heaven right there.
same.
I got
It's
Northwest.
great,
I was like, this is one of those places I was like, I could live here. When I saw it. When I was
it's
there.
like chilly weather. I like it.
Well, that was kind of the thing is, I'm a Midwest kid like you guys are,
Right.
So I hear hey, you're going to go to California. I was out there for work. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll bring my surfboard and my zinc for my nose, and I'll be out there with blonde beach babes or whatever. Well, we go to Northern California, and even in summertime, it can get pretty chilly.
Yeah. It's different up there.
That's
too.
what's cool about California. Like you could be surfing in Southern SoCal and then travel 5 hours and then be skiing up in Northern California.
And they still surf, they just have. But I was out there in shorts and a tank top. I'm like, hey, I'm in California, and everybody's in jackets and coats.
You have a surfboard. You have a surfboard.
That was a joke.
I didn't know if it was a joke or not. I was like, you don't strike me as a surfer.
You just picked up the accent.
That'd be weird. Yeah. Right.
How did your love for music start? When did it start?
Let's see. I was probably 14. My brother that was getting a good
Eric. Shout out Eric.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Eric in, man, I don't even know how long.
Shout out to Taiwan.
Yeah, he's in Taiwan. Represent.
You got to tell him I said what's up.
Yeah, I will. He was getting a guitar for Christmas, and I was like, oh, man, I want one too. And he's like, no, you can't do that. You can't copy me. And I was like 14. I guess he was like 15 or 16. So then he like tricked me into like getting a drum set instead. And so I got a drum set, like a really cheap one from JCPenney, and it would fall apart and I'd hit it.
You guys are going to be like the next Hanson or something.
Yeah, that's what my uncle would say back then, actually. And
Hanson.
So I did that for a while, and that's how we met a few times a long time ago. I played drums in some like 70s rock band before that was like kind of cool again.
With
Andy.
Yeah. You came out to Cherokee Landing and
we played there, and I think we played somewhere else together once, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if we hung out then.
Yeah,
Such a long time ago. But anyway, so yeah, I did that for like 20 years. But that's how I got into music. I quit like playing sports and baseball, and because I'm from Deloge, so I was like,
you were
starting
pretty
on the high school team.
You were pretty athletic. You're an athletic guy.
Yeah, so I just quit doing that and started being terrible at the drums, and that's how I got into it. Listened to everything, you know.
Yeah.
And then we graduated. We graduated 01, and then you went down to Arizona.
Yeah. I went to Tempe, Arizona, which is just outside of Phoenix, and there's like a recording school there where there's 2 different buildings, and it's like 4 studios in each building, and there were like control rooms with the big like Neve and SSL consoles, and
Neve, wow.
with like 8 desks in there for you to sit in. You know, like the instructors have like worked on big records and stuff, and it was cool, like tape machines and Pro Tools and all that.
So you got like some professional training.
Yeah.
'Cause you talk to a lot of musicians. I talk to a lot of musicians, and they don't know how to read music. They don't know how to do a lot of technical aspects of it.
Yeah, I can't read music, but I know like all the technical.
One of your instructors was like producer of one of the Smashing Pumpkins albums.
Yeah, the big double album they did.
Oh man,
that went diamond or something.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, to me, that might even be around here somewhere. That's one of the best. To me, that's one of the best albums ever.
One of my favorite albums. Best double album. Over what's
Wall.
Over no, I was gonna say over your dude GNR.
Oh, GNR hanging up right
What's
there.
their double?
Yeah.
Illusions.
Yeah, it's better than that. Yeah, he's a GNR guy.
It's different. It's different.
He's
you know?
he's definitely you're a GNR dude all day. He loves them.
Yeah.
Oh, Guns N' Roses.
Did you travel to like Kansas City, Milwaukee, or something like that? Assume.
Detroit one time.
Okay.
I had a free ticket.
I don't know how or why I fucking remember that.
So it's funny you say that. I tried to travel to Kansas City.
That's why I.
Okay.
at Arrowhead.
You remember Brad Green?
Yeah.
So this is like 15, 20 years
Dr.
ago.
Green now, isn't it?
Yeah. He was like, hey, I got a ticket in Detroit to see GNR if you want to see him. It's like, I'll pay for it. Just drive or whatever, help drive. So this is like in the MapQuest days, and we had the directions or whatever printed out, and it was snowing, and like the snow was all over the street signs on the highway, so we didn't know like what exit to take.
Oh wow.
Because we're in Detroit, and when it was like November.
Go 8 Mile.
Yeah. So, but we made it to the Joe Louis Arena, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's
Was it
cool.
what year was it?
2002 maybe, 2001. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably the same time. If you went, it was before they had the new record, Chinese Democracy.
Yeah, whatever. Cool.
So it was Axl then. It wasn't any of the other.
It was Axl and one of the keyboard players, I think.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, it was
just
the
Axl?
second keyboard. No, they had a band, but like
I know that. Well, yeah, you would Duff. It wasn't Duff.
they
or
had the drummer
Slash.
from
what's-
Brain, the guy from Primus, to play drums. I think.
Oh wow.
I saw Buckethead too. Yeah,
I've seen Buckethead.
yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah. On that.
He's a really lanky
Yeah,
guy too, man.
that one fucking song. It was like, you guys got to hear this song. It'll put you in outer space. And I was like, I was down. But at first, I had to listen to 4 minutes of Guns N' Roses first before we got to it. I was like,
like Chinese Democracy
Brain.
is like a a joke at this point. It took so long
it was
to
a
come
joke
out.
then.
Whatever.
It's never has not been a joke. The day he announced it, joke.
But I think that's a crazy unrated album. Like that album is so good. I think what Axl did is he got somebody that sounds like Slash and somebody who's technically better than Slash, which is Buckethead.
Well, yeah.
Because you hear him like shred,
Yeah, when I saw Buckethead, he did like a 10-minute solo of different genres and stuff.
Yeah, he's in,
Just by himself. It's crazy.
10-minute solo. He did an hour and a half solo. That's all it is. It's just one.
You sure this wasn't a Fish concert?
I've seen them. I saw them the day when the Blues won the cup. Man, I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a fucking beautiful night. I couldn't find my car for 2 hours afterwards, but
They play outside the stadium.
No. They did play Gloria in the second after the first intermission. They came back. Nice. They opened with Gloria because played how many sets, and then the Blues won.
Never seen Fish, but I used to.
They were fun,
be a
dude.
Fish head for a
They
little
closed
bit.
with Farmhouse.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs and that record too.
And I thought of you because I know the Fish world, and I know that they're nerds.
That's like the songwriter record.
Well,
where it's like
the nerds fucking hate certain songs. I think Farmhouse, and it's one of those songs Fish apparently doesn't play a lot, but yeah, oh god, those Fish heads are fucking. I mean, I got love for them, but it's just as annoying as Juggalos. But I love them. They're just like, all right, we
different
get
kind of Juggalo.
yeah, man. Oh, you should have heard.
Juggalo.
Yeah, that was good shit. You didn't. But you should hear that Bathtub Gym 1992 at fucking Riverport.
Yeah.
Like I get
Grateful Dead stuff.
It's
man.
like exactly. Is this the same song or is this a different song? I don't know.
So I do like the Dead. I don't get into
Love the
Fish.
Dead, of course.
I don't get into Fish.
Shit, you would love Fish. They're fucking phenomenal. I mean,
I've heard Fish. I've heard Fish.
Oh, they say you don't listen to them.
I don't get into them like I like the Dead. I like the Dead
I
better.
think you
Is
could.
it American Beauty? It's like a really good record of theirs.
That's like their only. I mean,
I remember I used to work in construction for a while, like these power plants, refineries, and I was up in Wisconsin like 11 months one year, and it was like, I don't know, from here to the street out here, like to Lake Michigan or maybe closer, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like up in the air on this platform, just like so close to it, cold. It's like minus 15 with the wind chill in January, and I had American Beauty in my headphones. Like walk around trying to stay warm because it's like sounds so warm, happy. It's like so miserable.
Box of Rain.
Yeah, Box of Rain.
Sugar Magnolia. Casey Jones. Was that on the album?
I think so.
No,
Also,
no, it's not.
Friend of the Devil.
Friend of the Devil. Casey Jones is not.
Ripple, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Fun fact: Grateful Dead only had one number and one hit. It was "Touch of Grey."
Yeah,
That's
an
a good-
80s
see, I like that.
record, whatever.
I love that
like
song, but
that
that was
Dead, too,
That
like
was
that
the
era.
only number. Have you seen those documentaries? Like it was a long trip home or whatever. It's like 4 hours, but yeah, they get into every era, like in that '80s, kind of late '80s, early '90s, fucking when that resurgence where they just fucking dominated. Like that was where like the Deadhead joke, like the it went to the zeitgeist by that point. Like I knew the Bears before I knew the band.
Yeah. So we're here in the barn, the Barn Podcast with Andrew Ryan. Andrew, I read an interview that you did the other day, and you said something really cool in there. You said something that I'm paraphrasing here, but you're too indie for country and you're too country for indie. Something sort of like that.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot actually, man. Like playlist spots and stuff. To get on these country podcasts or like alt country would be considered. Like they say it's a little too indie rock.
The Ryan Began world, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. And then they get on the indie rock stuff. It's a little too country.
What
too
about?
twangy.
I mean, singer songwriter. I mean, like singer songwriter, coffee house, kind of right. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is. There's some like
that's where
there's some like electric indie rock.
That's where
stuff.
I think that whole element of like genres and like labels and stuff like that. That's kind of on its way out the door too, because everything's becoming too much of a hybrid now.
I do agree.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to classify.
You do have to
right?
classify, but it's becoming to the point where it's like. It was like putting Primus into the metal genre, if you will. Like it's like, but we have to classify.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question.
I'm not against it so much.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to argue. I'm just saying.
What you want?
Relax.
Wasn't trying to argue. I was just like, my bad.
So I was in the car with my wife today, and I'll put on like the country stations, like as a joke, because I don't like the pop country stuff.
Sure.
Like, I think it's just silly, but. No, it was a joke, yeah.
Joke.
And there was something that came on, and she knows all that stuff, and she's like, "Oh, this is it was Sam Hunt,
Luke Combs."
but it was like a pop song singing about country, like back roads, but it was like
for sure.
symbols were like in reverse, and there was like
for sure.
big dance stuff. I'm like, it's just so weird.
What happened, and you might have been the one who told me this. What happened was like all the fucking producers and everything from the '80s and the hair metal bands.
Yeah.
Well, hair metal died.
They're in Nashville, yeah.
All the hair metal died. But where it's just like we're in Germany. Where do you think those scientists went after fucking World War II? It's just like those producers had to go somewhere, so they went to Nashville Row.
Yeah.
And boom, Garth Brooks, Shania Twain, and now we have it's called pop country, and all country is the term for.
Pop just means popular.
It's arena country, yeah. It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's arena country, which
Yeah, and when you turn on country radio, country pop, whatever it's called. You hear programmed drums and you hear a lot of
like
some
the 80s,
keyboards.
like the reverb snare from the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like all the producers out of Sweden. Is it Sweden or Norway? Like where Ace of Base is from and all those bands. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Sweden. Yeah, like that's where all the pop music's written and came out. Like now everything we listen to from Pink, Britney Spears, Timberlake.
Yeah, there's like there's a married couple that
it all comes from fucking
writes a lot of
Sweden. It's like they're like or one of those like.
See, this is what I would call, well, that's Old Crow, right? But they just showed Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings in the video, and that's like.
But
country music
what about
for
like
me.
what would you say like with Brad Paisley or like Jamie Johnson?
I don't know. I don't listen to that stuff. I honestly don't know.
But yeah, you're
Like,
right.
to me, Neil Young's like country music, or even like some Tom Petty could be in that. Middle of the road.
for sure. Yeah,
That's
for sure. 100% with that. Yeah.
And I definitely think that's kind of where the crossover country rock thing happened,
Uncle
and like the Eagles,
Yeah, the Eagles. Yeah, for sure.
Uncle Tupelo. They're the ones who fucking invented I think that all kind of alt country.
Yeah, they say they invented it. Yeah.
Them and all, the Uncle
Wilco,
old 97s.
Yeah. But it's like if you replace the electric guitar with the fiddle, then it changes everything.
Replacements.
Pedal steel.
They might be the godfathers of it if really replacements. If we're gonna get hipster. with
Really?
it.
You think that? I don't get that.
That kind of alt, kind of like.
I don't get country with them.
not country though. There's not really country, but say it's like they're bringing like the kind of country element to it, like almost like this. All same with like Wilco does, like this. There's a rock element to it. I mean, the rawness or whatever. And this is that's what I'm saying. It's all becoming like a cacophony now of different fucking what are the Alabama Shakes. Like if Adele and Janis Joplin had a child, it would be Alabama Shakes.
Good point. Yeah.
So classifying is good because it's how we can somewhat narrow it down. Like.
So we're in the barn. We're doing the barn podcast. We have Andrew Ryan here. Thanks for joining us today, bud. And you're gonna actually maybe do a song or two here in a little bit on some acoustic for us. We got some mics set up for you. This episode is brought to you by Liquid Death. Stay hydrated with Liquid Death. And right now we're gonna hear Andrew Ryan and Midwest Kids. I think this might have been the first song that I heard of yours. Is this the one with the video that Nate's actually in?
No, that's the Christmas song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I snuck that in.
I forgot about the Christmas song.
I was in Kansas City and Lawrence a few weeks ago, and I like played it because it was cold there. I'm like, I'm gonna play a Christmas song because it's freezing.
Yeah.
I forgot about.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in fucking booty shorts in that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that's good.
What was the name of that song?
Restless Christmas.
What's funny about that is you would ask me after that. I had already had that recorded for something else.
Oh, really?
And you're like, hey, you got a little funny video of you dancing around at Christmas Eve? I'm like, I got just what you need.
No. I said, do you have any like Christmas footage, past or present? And you're like, hang on. And you sent me one of you in your underwear.
I just did
by
that.
the tree.
Yeah. I was like, hold on, dog. I got what you need.
Yeah, because all my friends sent me like videos of their kids or them as kids or whatever. And then, then there's like, who's this guy in his underwear? I'm like, oh, Snake.
Yeah.
I liked it though. I think that was the first exposure I had to you, and I liked that song.
Oh, cool.
And the couple I've heard the whole album, but the couple that you pre-released to the album, man, I fell in love with.
Yeah, I did some like indie rock stuff in 2021.
Yeah, I think when you released Midwest Kids, that was when I messaged you. It was like, man, this is so good. And I was trying to share out your stuff because it was just so good. So you're representing Deloge well. We appreciate that, man. Anytime we can, we got to get D-Town out there. So we're going to go to break right now. This episode is brought to you by Liquid Death. Stay hydrated with Liquid Death. And we're going to hear Andrew Ryan, Midwest Kids. We'll be back after this.
So darling daughter, I insist, Midwest kids are oblivious. Even now and even then, you got your mother's fire, it's obvious. You got your mother's fire, it's obvious. And your faith says it all. You resist when I call. Life will not always be like this. I'm at war with the obvious. I'm at war with the obvious. This time of year, it's got me feeling low, and now I'm in the mirror, and all alone. I can't say it's been an easy time. You're not the only one that's lost their mind. 'Cause on this Christmas, this restless Christmas, and on this Christmas, spend here with you. 'Cause on this Christmas, this restless Christmas, and on this Christmas, spend here with you. And now the sun hangs low this time of year, and I've been laughing at night since you disappeared. I can't say it's been an easy time. You're not the only one that's lost their mind. 'Cause on this Christmas, this restless Christmas, and on this Christmas, spend here with you. 'Cause on this Christmas, this restless Christmas, and on this Christmas, spend here with you. Spend here with you. Tell me what you want from me, and I'll put it under the tree. And everything is so messed up. Maybe I'm bad luck, bad luck.
Mr. Andrew Ryan, killer stuff, man.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everybody out there. And the name of that one was again?
That was Restless Christmas.
Restless Christmas, and we don't care. We're going to play that 12 months a year.
Yeah. I wrote that in December this year. I was listening to a lot of Paul McCartney, and I'm like, man, I could do this. And then, like 6 days, I just recorded it and did everything, and I had a friend of mine do the solo on the guitar.
That's awesome.
That's released on all platforms:
Another
Spotify, iTunes, fans,
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, yeah.
It seems like you got a lot of people on this record. You want to talk about some of the like instrumentation on this record?
Yeah, there's a lot of people on this thing. A lot of it's just friends of mine I met touring, and people that I know in St. Louis that are really talented people.
Some pedal steel on some.
Yeah,
on some
yeah,
of the
that was,
songs?
Well, how does that work? Do they like email you that like they and all that? I mean,
Well, it was like during the beginning of the pandemic.
with your way you work, I mean, you're
Yeah.
like a spider web. You're branched out everywhere. So like
Yeah.
these people like
I would have like pedal steel emailed to me or
Right on,
bass, and
that's
put
kind
it together.
Fuck yeah.
And that's a whole new world because I have a buddy who did some touring a while back, and he's making a record with everybody that they're like over in the UK, and they're in the middle of making this record. You know, we talk about some of these old times and some of these old bands back in the 70s. If you told somebody that back in the 70s, then like in the future you'll be able to make a whole record and be half a world away.
You told me that in 2000. I would thought that was crazy.
Yeah, like what? No,
Email.
I'm on Napster, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Napster pays the most of any platform right now per stream.
Is that
Isn't
right?
that ironic a little bit?
That is ironic.
Yeah. It's not by much, but
What's the best way to support an indie artist?
Buy him a loaf of bread,
give me a natural light. I don't know.
gas card.
We pay a natural light at the barn here.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe, I guess Bandcamp's probably the best place, like to sell stuff. But I guess just go to a show.
Have you thought Patreon in that world?
Man, I have, but I just don't know if I'm big enough.
I mean, my opinion is that if you believe in your art, you want more people to hear it, more people to enjoy it, and
yeah, you want to do you no matter what. That's fucking at the end of the day, is do you, and it's gonna get out there, and however it gets to someone's gonna get to someone.
Right.
Just from the little bit that we do with the podcast world, I know how important shares are, and you hear people say it all the time. Be sure to share it. Be sure to get more eyes on it. But that is so important with getting your product. I know it's art, but it's your product, getting it out there. Sometimes I tell people, they're like, man, what can I do to help you with the podcast stuff? And I just share it, man. If you share it, it gets more eyes on it.
Do you think you're more focused with the live performance as you are with the production element?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I've done that production stuff, and it's fun, but it's a different feeling. They're both fun, so I enjoy it both,
What about, do you have any upcoming shows, anything local that anybody...
I don't have anything until May. I'm going to be in Kansas City and Topeka and Lawrence. And then I've got some shows in July. I'm going to like Nashville and Birmingham. And then this September, October, November, I'll be all over the place. I'm booking stuff right now for that, but it's not all concrete. But
it feels like the pandemic's getting a little bit better. So is that making it easier for you to be an artist and get out there?
I think so. Last November, I was gone for a few weeks and no one really cared about it. But I did go to a place in Lawrence where they wanted to like just make sure you've been vaccinated and stuff. I'm just glad it's at the end of it,
A lot of your sound, I think we talked about this before we even put the mics on us, but a lot of your sound reminds me of Ryan Adams and that sort of whiskey town, and Ryan Adams and the Cardinals and that style. And I would consider him somebody where what you're talking about. It's like he's too indie to be country and too country to be indie. He kind of falls in that middle area.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, he's definitely an influence. I would say like modern influence would be like Wilco as well. I'm into, and Uncle Tupelo. Cool, Some of the early stuff that I got into was like Guided by Voices, total indie rock, But yeah, I definitely do that kind of country stuff. I can write songs that are fast and sing it like that, but it's just more comfortable to be like lazier. I'm just laid back, so I think that's just how I fit.
Sort of 4 on the floor, and
yeah.
I just think that the space that's there, it allows the song to be heard a little bit more, and I'm guessing songwriting is important to you. You want people to relate to it, to catch to your lyrics or whatever. So I think that just that sound with, like you're saying, a little pedal steel or whatever it is, and sort of the bridges and just highlight and accents. Tiny Death is the album. The first 2 tracks, All My Life, Midwest Kids, those were the ones that you released early. When I hear the whole album, when I listen to the album, I don't know if I'm looking too much into it just because I know you're from this area, right. But there's even some references to this area, and it does feel like an album. It sounds like a Wilco where it's like a Midwestern type sound. So I'd really pick up that vibe. And again, I'm not sure if I'm looking too much into it.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure it is. I'm back in the area, and I've lived here most of my life. I lived in Phoenix and Chicago for a little bit, and then in South City, St. Louis for about almost a decade.
Recording to tape is definitely a dying, if not already dead kind of thing.
Right.
But said that you actually have the ability to record to tape, or at least know how. Yeah,
I learned that in school, and I've done that before in the past. And I actually had a tape machine like maybe 8 years ago. I sold it, but nobody would want to record to it. I had like 1-inch to 16 tracks, but standard usually is like 2-inch tape to 24. But yeah.
Seen Foo Fighters even recording the tape and
that's cool.
White Stripes.
Well, like also they have like they mix it probably in the computer, or they have like
a lot of tape,
outboard gear to fix it. Yeah, not to fix it, just like $1 million of equipment also with it.
Right.
It's still different. I don't know.
Being trained in that way as an audio engineer, does vinyl sound different to you? Does something on tape sound different to you, to your ears? Are you able to pick up those nuances?
Oh, he will.
There is.
He'll point it out. He's like, you know what they're doing here? This is what they're doing. That's why you're doing it. Yeah. I'm like, he'll crowbar
in. Analyze stuff.
If the situation's right, Andrew will crowbar in his knowledge of like, oh yeah, I forget how rad of an engineer you are.
It's like watching TV with someone that works in film to be like,
why is it different? You can tell they're doing this. It's always
Yeah, I'll be like, that chorus is copy and paste. I can tell.
Same thing. They did the same thing on the band did that on Big Pink or something like that. Then you reference like the origins of, I guess.
So you have a couple maybe mini tours coming up this summer. Gonna stay pretty busy, I guess. It sounds like. Yeah,
this fall for sure. A couple small things in like May and July.
Can I ride with you?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
I've got a couple more like recording gigs. Like I'm going to Chicago in in a week for like 10 or 12 days to make a record with a friend. And then I think I have one in Nashville too. It's not 100% confirmed, but it's like, all these projects. So I'm like, okay, I got this mapped out. Then it's like, okay, well, I got to book these dates. And then I've got a friend in LA that came here in January. We recorded some of his stuff in St. Louis, and I got to go back out there with him to record like the second EP.
Awesome.
I don't know when. Like
What's
we're
his
like
name?
later this year. Nick, you met him.
Yep.
Yeah, you met him years ago at Heavy Anchor.
The anchor, yeah. Well,
Yeah, he just worked on the new Batman film. He like does all kinds of cool stuff.
yeah, that's cool, pretty cool.
Yeah, he used to do like commercials.
I didn't do much yesterday,
Car
but this guy
companies.
worked on the Batman.
Yeah, he's a super
I
talented
took
guy.
a nap earlier, and this guy's
Yeah. He goes by Level in the Square. So
Level in the
for
square.
all you listeners,
Okay.
Oh, we already know who he is. He works for Batman.
we'd be working on stuff, and he'd have to like take a conference call, and I was just sitting around, and he's like showing me the stuff on his laptop. He's making like a background for a video game or an app, like for Gotham City.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, cool bricks, dude. That's awesome.
Right on, yeah.
I'll see you
I'm so
later.
impressed too.
I'm on hour 3 of Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
We'll go home to my Domino's.
Like we got to fix that bass track, but yeah, fix your little game or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So like playing out and playing gigs, I guess you just kind of accumulate all these different friends that are in the business, or at least
Yeah,
out there
definitely.
trying to do what you're doing.
You start meeting people that's like one person away from someone that you've heard of or whatever,
Instead of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, it's 2 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. I mean, it just happens. It's not like at first you're like, oh wow, that's really cool. Then you're like, oh, it's not a big deal at all. People just struggle on different levels.
What do you think is more important, talent or being cool?
It's like 51-49.
The networking and the fucking talent,
Or if you just like don't give up, those people usually
grinding?
succeed. Yeah.
And
they just
'Cause the talent will eventually come. The more
I
you
hate
do
that word. I don't know why,
something,
but yeah, or just work.
There's a lot of talented people that don't do anything.
Of course. Oh fuck! I mean, Jesus
No
Christ.
bunch of them.
Yeah,
Too.
there's more than there are talent. I mean, what's more going to be accessible now and not be blocked by like it has been back
Yeah, I
in the
think
day?
you got to maybe be cool because you have to know how to like talk to people and try to book things and still be social with people. You can't you can't just act crazy at some club.
Professional.
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
definitely.
I heard something, I forget where even I heard it, but something along the lines of like successful people just didn't give up. They continued to do it and they got better at it and they just didn't give up. Where, like you're saying, I know a ton of talented people that probably aren't on the level that some other people
Yeah, that's
are.
a good point.
Sure.
Just because,
Could be, yeah.
because they
It's
gave
it's
up.
like drill hole
10,000 hours.
oil, and you're like getting so deep, and then you just go over here and start over there. If you just kept going, eventually, big or little, you'll hit something.
Yeah, just refuse to give
That
up.
told
And
me, I'm like, yeah, that's a good.
so I think it's great, man. You're touring across the country and getting your album out there. It's a great album, A Tiny Death by Andrew Ryan. And it's on all the socials and all the places you get music, buy music, listen to music. Talking about DIY in it, we need all the help we can get. So if you hear this and you like what you hear, make sure to share it. All that stuff,
Send
right?
your complaints as well.
We got a box on the way out. You can write in and drop your complaints. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We appreciate you joining us here, and you're going to do another acoustic one for us. Andrew Ryan, A Tiny Death, out now, out yesterday, as of yesterday. So this is kind of your coming out, I guess.
Yeah, this is my first performance since it came out.
Awesome.
Right?
Awesome. With many more to come.
Yeah.
We're excited for old Deloge boy out there doing it. D-Town represent.
Yeah, it's I'm glad you had me, and it's great to be here, and we got to finally kind of meet more than we have in the past. Like we said,
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys didn't.
We'd played
have
shows
any sort of a
together
history,
in
because
the
you guys are both athletic and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and both the low. So it's kind of weird you guys' path didn't cross.
yeah,
more.
probably a million friends that we all know.
Oh, sure.
Together. It's just weird. Maybe because I just wasn't doing the metal thing,
Yeah.
But
I
he was
bought-
still, but you guys were like both kind of
back-
jock. You guys are still jocks, so you guys are some preps back in the high. You guys kind of stay right in those same circles. I was like, don't get it twisted.
Hey, don't get mad because I can catch
No,
the ball.
I get mad at you guys. I got mad.
not my fault.
I just called it how I see it. I was like, birds of a feather, man.
We're going to go out and shoot free throws after this and see who can hang.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love that you're out there doing it, man. Good for you, and good for you living your dream and working towards it. But your music is great. I love it. Hopefully when you guys are listening to this, you dig it too. Make sure you download and subscribe and like and share and all that stuff for Andrew Ryan. The album is A Tiny Death, and we appreciate you coming, man.
All right, thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
see what I'm missing is all my life. Yeah, I've tried to get it right. All my life, man, I've tried to get it right. Hard to believe that you've been thinking. It's hard to conceive when you're misleading. 'Cause all my life, yeah, I've tried to get it right. All my life, man, I've tried to get it right. Hard to explain the way that I'm feeling. It's hard to contain this pain I'm concealing. It's all my life, yeah, I've tried to get it right. All my life, man, I've tried to get it right. Six weeks in, I'm losing you.